Hello everybody. It's been like 15 days since I've done a tutorial. That's not an exaggeration. Anyway, so for my crab cakes, what I think makes them awesome is that there are peppers. I have sauteed peppers. And even before I was keto, I would do that. I would saute the peppers and it just gives the crab cake just a little bit of pop and flavor. You know, when you get a crab cake out, there's a lot of fillers, like a lot of breadcrumbs, like way more bread than crab, and that's a problem. And the peppers, although it is, I guess, a filler, I think it complements it really well. So you need half a cup of bell peppers. I like to have all three colors, so I have an orange, a yellow, a red. I think it's nice to have bunches of color, but if you wanted to stick to one pepper, that's fine. You want a sweet pepper. So I'm just gonna dice up my peppers. I'm just gonna slice them into strips, and then I'm gonna go straight down. And you want them relatively even. Now, you could theoretically not saute the peppers, but I think when you saute them, they're a little bit sweeter and softer, so I think that's the better thing to do. So we're gonna cut up all your peppers. You wanna do like a fine dice, because you kind of want it to look like confetti inside the crab cake. So I'm gonna cut up all these peppers and I'll be right back. So I'm preheating my pan on medium, and I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. Again, you can technically make these crab cakes without sauteing the peppers, but it's worth the step. So I have my half cup of peppers. I'm gonna throw it in the oil, and then once it heats up, we're gonna basically cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes until they're nice and soft. Do you hear that sizzle? It's the sound of flavor. Because the peppers are cut up so finely, they don't really need too much. Give them a little shake. And once you feel like they're aromatic, you can like smell the sweetness, you can stop. And then the rest of the crab cake we're going to assemble. So basically there's really no cooking involved until the patty is made. So this is literally the only cooking step. So literally the rest of this recipe just involves you mixing ingredients together. So the first thing you're gonna do is combine a tablespoon of almond flour. These are keto. When I made regular crab cakes, I use crushed up crackers as the breading, but we're gonna be using a little bit of almond flour and pork rinds. So we're gonna start with this. We're also gonna add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. In addition, we're gonna add a half a cup of mayonnaise. And whether you're keto or not, mayonnaise or sour cream is needed for the moisture. You want a moist, but not too moist crab cake. We also need a teaspoon of Old Bay and a teaspoon of hot sauce. So I have my Old Bay. If you don't have Old Bay, then you're not doing seafood right. So I'm gonna do a teaspoon of Old Bay and a teaspoon of hot sauce, and then we're gonna whisk them together. It's really, really simple. Then you can use crushed up crackers, because that's what I would do normally. So these crab cakes are just a variation of the regular crab cakes I used to make prior to keto, but they honestly taste the same. It's like $14, and the company will tell you that it's worth it. I don't know what they're doing to those pigs that it's justifiable in cost, but I don't think so. So I'm just gonna grind this up in my Vitamix. This is my binder. If you're not keto, or if you don't like pork, so to this bowl, I'm going to add my bell peppers that I sauteed earlier. Again, if you're lazy, you don't have to saute them, but I do think it helps with flavor. And the peppers are also going to serve not only for flavor, but they're also going to be a binder in a sense. That's why we have the pork. The peppers are going to help with that as well. Next, I'm going to crack 1 egg. The egg will bind the pork rinds in just a little bit. In addition, we need a teaspoon of pepper. So we're gonna combine these ingredients, and then we're gonna fold in our crab. So I mixed the ingredients. Now we're gonna add the star of the show, the crab. So I have a pound of crab. You wanna get lump crab meat. And if you can't afford crab or you can't find it, I make really awesome salmon cakes as well. So any kind of fish will do, but crab is obviously superior. So I'm gonna add my pound of crab and mix that together. You want to gently fold it from the bottom up to the top. So I have my crab, I just kind of like pushed it down, and I'm going to fold it up. So I'm going to go from the bottom and scoop up very, very gently. And once that's all mixed, then we're going to add our pork panko. So it's a cup. Again, if you're not keto, you can use crushed up Ritz crackers. That's my absolute favorite. In addition to the pork rinds, we're gonna also add up some freshly minced up parsley. You need 2 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna estimate it. I like to just like kind of pinch it in my hand. 1 and 2. So now we're gonna fold everything. And then there's one more ingredient. So I'm folding everything together, and honestly, you can just stop right here. But my favorite thing with crab cakes is the dipping sauce. So what I like to do is I like to add the dipping sauce as well. So the dipping sauce is remoulade. And I always get made fun of because I say remoulade for whatever reason. But anyway, so here's some remoulade. If you have this to dip in, awesome. If you don't have it, it's fine. You can just mix this as is. But I think it's super, super flavorful. So I'm just gonna open this up, and now that everything's almost entirely mixed, I'm gonna add just a little bit, a couple dashes. Let's see. How much am I feeling? If it come out. Okay, I think this is gonna be like a Heinz 57 bottle situation. Give it a little shake. Okay, I want you to assume that something's gonna come out of here. Got something, hold on, here we go. So I just add a couple dashes, maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons, and then I'm gonna mix it together lightly. It's one of those things, like crab cakes, you get a feel for what the texture should be like, because if you add too much of the liquid, then it's never gonna stick together. You want them to bind together, but you don't want it to be that there's so much binder that it's dry. So it's kind of a feel thing, but I love adding the dipping sauce inside. It just gives it some extra zing. And if you've never had remoulade sauce, it's zesty and it has like 17 ingredients, and I used to make my own, but when I found out that the store-bought one is just as good, that's what I've been doing, because you know, today's a weeknight, I want to keep it simple. Now, here's my mixture. Everything's ready to go. So I'm going to portion these into quarter-cut patties, and then you have 2 options. You can either fry them or you can air fry them, and I'm going to show you both. So you have 2 options. You can either air fry these at 370 degrees for 10 minutes, or you can pan fry them for about 4 minutes on each side. So you save 2 minutes in the pan, but there's a lot of oil splatter, so you're warned. So it's really up to you. Either way, you're gonna get a quarter cup of the mixture and then turn it into a patty. So you may wanna form your patties first and then put them in the air fryer, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna form these right into the air fryer as we speak. So I have my air fryer, and this is my small one, so it's probably not the best use for it, but anyway, I'm going to drizzle some olive oil so nothing sticks, and then I'm going to use a paper towel to make sure everything's coated. And then, like I said, a quarter cup of the mixture, I'm just going to plop it down just like that. You can't see it. There you can. So I'm going to get about 4 in here, and then I'm going to cook them for 10 minutes. I have my crab cakes. I'm going to put it in. Like I said, 370 for 10 minutes. And you can flip them halfway or not. It's up to you. I'm going to just demonstrate one in a frying pan, and then I'm going to let you guys decide what you think is worth it. I'm using my pan that I dirtied already that has the olive oil in it, and I'm just going to add some avocado oil. And once I feel like that's heated up nicely, I'm going to fry up my patty. Again, this is really good. I love fried in the regular pan, but it does make a little bit of a mess, just so you know. So it looks like my oil might be ready. So I'm just gonna like test it, hear how it sizzles. You can hear a little bit of sizzle, so I know I can plop it down. And again, we're gonna cook it 4 minutes on each side. I'll show you what it looks like as I flip it. As it's frying, I push down the mixture with the 1/2 cup measurement just to flatten it out a bit, because if it gets flat, then it's more likely to be crispy. So in about 2 minutes, we're gonna flip her over. So I'm ready to flip. You can kind of just look at the edges. I'm gonna use a spatula. Alexa, stop the timer. And then flip it on the other side. And like I said, oil splatter galore, but I'll make the mess just for you. Flipped her over. It's a little dark. I could probably lower the temperature to make it more golden brown, but it will taste fine. I actually think aesthetically, the air fryer ones are gonna look better, but a lot of people like the pan sear crisp edge, which is what you get here when you pan sear it. I just can't stand the mess, so the rest of mine are gonna be air fried. Here's the air fryer ones. To me, these look more appealing, but anyway, I'm gonna put them all together and show you how to serve them up. So I usually spend a little bit more time plating my food, but we're hungry. Here that is. Add a little parsley on top. If you have any radish, that might be like a nice bright pop of color. And enjoy. They're awesome, trust me. So I have my pan seared over here and my air fried cake over here. If I remember correctly, they both taste good, and the difference is so marginal. I would argue that air frying is a lot easier and less messy, but I will do a taste test again just to make sure that's still true. All right, so I'm gonna go for the traditional fried. Anytime you have a crab cake, it can't be bad. That I know, but is it worth the mess? Really good crunch. Yep. Let's try the regular fry. I mean air fry. What is regular fry anymore? And you gotta have remoulade. If you're gonna make this crab cake recipe, please buy some remoulade. Okay. Still very crispy, but I think I prefer the air fried one anyway. So if you don't have an air fryer, you can probably still use your oven and do the same temperature. But honestly, who wants the oil splatter? So totally recommend the air fryer. What I love about this recipe is the peppers. So a lot of crab cakes have fillers, but at least the peppers is flavorful. So the sweetness of the pepper complements the sweetness of the crab, and it's just to die for. And the remoulade speaks to me. If you're not keto and you want to make these, you can make my regular crab cakes by either using panko breadcrumbs, like regular panko, or crushed up crackers. Honestly, crushed up Ritz crackers is the best in my experience. So the best crab cakes you ever had, chances are it was made with crushed up crackers as breading. Regular, like Italian breadcrumbs, are too like dense. So you really want something light and flaky, and that's why a cracker or like a panko is your best bet. So I hope you make these. Enjoy.